boy, we're back again. Today's topic is art. Today we're going to be talking about art. I'm kind of pleased with today's website. I think it's pretty good. If you take a look at today's website, there's a link underneath the YouTube video. I'm pretty pleased with that. You know, you've got a few famous paintings in there, and then you've got this fantastic stuff from Google Art and Culture, where you can stroll around some of the great museums of the world, or you can see famous artworks really up close. You can see the brush strokes that the artist put into this work. And there's plenty of other stuff on the website as well. So please take a look at that and enjoy. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about art, as I said, and we're going to do a reading. And the reading, of course, as you can see, is not called art. It's actually called graffiti. So the question is, of course, is graffiti art? Is street art art? Or is it something else? You know. But anyway, this is the introduction, the reading that we have. So I don't think the vocab is too tough. You can look at the exercises. The exercises have vocabulary, so you can practice the vocab. But I think today it's nice just to do this reading. I'd really like it if you took some time to look into the fantastic stuff on Google. You know, you've got a little bit of time at home, and you can use your mouse and go around the galleries. Really nice to be able to visit places which are far away and see things really up close. So just take a bit of time to look at that. Anyway, graffiti, today's reading. Are you ready? Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. The first drawings on walls appeared in caves thousands of years ago. Later, the ancient Romans and Greeks wrote their names and protest poems on buildings. Modern graffiti seems to have appeared in Philadelphia in the early 1960s. And by the late 60s, it had reached New York. The new art form really took off in the 1970s when people began writing their names or tags on buildings all over the city. In the mid-70s, it was sometimes hard to see out of a subway car window because the trains were completely covered in spray paintings known as masterpieces. In the early days, the taggers were part of street gangs who were concerned with marking their territory. They worked in groups called crews and called what they did writing. The term graffiti was actually first used in the New York Times by the novelist Norman Mailer. Art galleries in New York began buying graffiti in the early 70s, but at the same time, it began to be regarded as an art form. John Lindsay, the then mayor of New York, declared the first war on graffiti. By the 1980s, it became much harder to write on subway trains without being caught. And instead, many of the more established graffiti artists began using roofs of buildings or canvases. The debate over whether graffiti is art or vandalism is still going on. Peter Valone, a New York City councillor, thinks that graffiti done with permission can be art. But if it is on someone else's property, it becomes a crime. I have a message for the graffiti vandals out there, he said recently. Your freedom of expression ends where my property begins. On the other hand, Felix, a member of the Berlin-based group Reclaim Your City, says that artists are reclaiming cities for the public from advertisers and that graffiti represents freedom make cities more vibrant. Excuse me. For decades, graffiti has been a springboard to international fame for a few. Jean-Michel Basquiat began spraying on the street in the 1970s before becoming a respected artist in the 80s. The Frenchman Blake Leroy and the British artist Banksy have achieved international fame by producing complex works with stencils, often making political or humorous points. Works by Banksy have been sold for over £100,000. Graffiti is now sometimes big business. Okay, so as I said, look on the website, a lot of the history of art there. There's a little bit about Banksy as well. And you can see a bit about that and explore a little bit of art galleries, as I said. And then at the bottom of the page, there's another special treat for you. Maybe you can try and make another video like this, upload it. Let me take a look at it. Okay, thank you very much for listening today. A shorter one, but I hope you enjoyed it. See you again. Bye-bye. Boom, boom.